The purpose of this is to recap all of our experiences in NTE. I know, we didn't all have entirely positive or negative experiences, but I thought it would be good still to hold a podcast where various different content creators with different backgrounds can all discuss their experience in it together, because I know we all play different main gachas. I will point out though, and this is specifically for chat and for the YouTube VOD, I did give Neverness to Everness a day one impression review over on my Twitter. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I thought that was a relatively fair rating. I went over why I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think for a beta test, that was relatively fair. With that out of the way, if you all want to go ahead and give a bit of background for everyone watching, beginning with Ethin, who you are and what gacha games you currently play.
What's going on, boys? Name's Ethin. I play like Wuwa, Wuthering Waves, the occasional Zenless Zone Zero, and I just like kind of do commentary on the space and whatnot, just have fun. I'm very much looking forward to all the new games, including NTE, even though there was some things I definitely didn't like, but yeah, pretty much, yeah, just cover everything.
Awesome. Oofie?
I'm Oofie. I do all kinds of games. Honkai Third, used to play Genshin, play some Star Rail every now and then. Not so much anymore. Definitely know Wuthering Waves, and occasionally Zenless. And Love and Deep Space. There's too many games that I play, but right now I've been focusing on Uma Musume.
For real. Rubee?
Hi everyone, my name is Rubee. I am a VTuber that reacts and plays gacha games such as Hoyo games, Star Rail, Zenless, and Wuthering Waves, Kuro games. Uma is also one of the games I've been watching people play. I'm too scared to get addicted. I am looking forward to NTE.
It's easy.
Yeah, I've been enjoying NTE quite a lot, so I'm excited to be here.
All right, Queenie.
I'm Queenie. I'm a variety streamer. I play lots of different games, not just gachas. Mostly I'm just excited for NTE and a bunch of other gachas this year, so that I can really get into the gacha space. I really love Wuthering Waves, and I keep trying to pull myself away from it because I have so many games going right now. It's crazy, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to NTE to see how it goes going forward.
Okay, and my wife, of course, Mrs. Stix.
Hi, yes, I am Mrs. Stix. My total role is trolling Stix. That is my life purpose. I play Wuthering Waves, Girls Frontline 2, and then of course sometimes Infinity Nikki, but right now, Girl Cop.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave my rating at the beginning of stream. Beginning with Ethin, real quick, what would each of you rate your beta experience or the beta overall, taking into consideration, of course, this is a beta test, and my 6 out of 10 was from the perspective of a beta rather than a fully released game?
Yeah, I'd probably go personally like a 5.5 with tons of potential. Like, I want to make that clear. I was critical of the game, very critical of it, but there are things I really enjoy, but I don't know about anyone else. I'm not going to yap too much, but I just had so many issues like performance, etc., and just mechanics. So like 5.5 for me for a beta.
All right. I mean, performance-wise, 1 in 3 men our age, right? Oofie. Oofie. Oofie, what would you rate it out of 10?
I would say, considering it's also a beta, I'm kind of between 6 and 7 out of 10, because the things that I personally want from video games, they had, or from gacha games, they had for me, but I don't know. There was still a lot of things that needed work, like story-wise and stuff like that. But the exploration, I really enjoyed.
All right, Rubee.
Yeah, I would also rate the beta at like a 6.5 out of 10. It is my first time playing NTE, by the way, so I actually never saw what the first beta was like. So going to the second one, optimization was kind of tough because I was playing on a laptop. But I thought the story was great. I actually really enjoyed the exploration, like the driving as well. I don't know how detailed I should go into it.
But we're going to cover topics one by one as we move through,
okay.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so like, I would say probably like 6.5 out of 10. It is a really solid beta though. It has a lot of potential. And then of course there are some things that they could work on, which I'm sure we'll cover in a little bit.
100%. Queenie.
I would say 7 out of 10. Just because I had so much fun. I was laughing the entire time. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened, and that doesn't always happen in video games. It was very unique, with all the anomalies and stuff like that. I love the GTA aspect of it. I just wish they would go a little bit further with that, because there were things, I'm sure we'll get into it, but there were things that were like, why would they have that in here if you can't do certain things, you know? But yeah, I loved it altogether, and it definitely has a ton of potential. I'm just very excited for the future of this game.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I would actually agree with Queenie. I would give the game a 7 out of 10 because I am just simply giving it that score based on the aspect of I can see what this game can be. I think there's a lot of very interesting things that would set this game very far apart from other gacha games that are currently out there now. It just needs to actually lean into that and do a lot better with some things. But if they lean into the things that is making them unique, interesting, this could be good.
Okay, now that we're back on track, let's move through the topics one by one, beginning with the combat. I'll go first each time, and then if you want to, we can go one by one, or everyone can give their opinions at the same time, or whatever you guys want to do. I think it'll be less hectic if we go one by one. Personally, with regards to combat, I thought it was a significant improvement over the first closed beta. I think that, honestly, the animations were improved a lot. I think the fluidity of the combat was improved quite a bit. I think there was a lot more impact this time around. I know that there was, I think, I found a lot of issues personally. I know a lot of other people had issues with the bloated HP for enemies. That definitely, I feel like, inhibited my enjoyment of the overall combat, because, you know, while it's fun seeing all your awesome flashy abilities, while you see your, you know, the really enjoyable intro and outro skills, having a boss fight take 5-10 minutes to actually kill early on in the game, even when you're leveling yourself and you're equipping yourself appropriately and everything, is just, you know, that it really dampened my enjoyment overall. And when you'd enter the dungeons to farm materials, you were also kind of held back by how long it took to actually clear things. But I mean, bloated HP, that's something that could be very easily fixed. I think the combat overall, though, was, you know, a lot of fun. Ethan?
I think the combat has a lot of potential. Like, one thing you brought, I really didn't like the HP bloat, and I think the elemental reaction system is honestly a really big peak for me, because I love the fact that you're able to, like, intro with one character, and, like, they have, like, I think it's called Bloom, but each individual character can have their own type of twist onto the elemental reaction. It just felt really insignificant. Like, I never felt like any of my reactions were doing damage. I never felt that it was actually, I don't know, I'm making up something. Let's say it would slow the enemy. Like, I didn't even know what they were doing. I would read the kit. The only one that I saw was the little one. It would spawn like 3 dots on the floor and kind of like attack them. But they felt really, really kind of useless to me, unfortunately, which is unfortunate, because I thought that was the best part of the first beta, because I really think that system can take this game to a different level. In terms of the rest of the combat, I'm going to be honest with you, I actually didn't really feel there was much of a difference to me personally from the first beta. I know they added the parry. Now, it could maybe be like a massive ping issue or a skill issue. I don't know, but I felt the parry was very inconsistent, and the dodges felt inconsistent, right? But I think as a whole, it has so much potential, but it kind of has, I don't know if you remember the first Wuwa beta, or maybe it's the second Wuwa beta. Like, when you said that felt impact, I don't feel enough impact, like with the sound effects. Sometimes I feel like I'm kind of just going through the motions. So yeah, I don't know. It felt very bland, but it shouldn't feel bland, because I think it has, honestly, my favorite elemental reaction system. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I felt about it. And then, I don't know if we're going to talk about something different. Like, can I bring up like constellations and stuff? Because I actually thought that was, I think the constellation system's amazing. I think that's by far the best constellation system. If I'm understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you unlock one dupe and you can pick any of the 6. And that's such a great spin, unless I'm wrong. I don't know if anyone.
You know, I actually didn't think that. I just leveled it one by one. I just know you can take away the
Bro,
con if you want.
Dude, I did the same thing as you. And then someone mentioned it. I'm like, wait, hold on. I could jump to 6. And I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
I
like,
logged in
Oh.
like on the last day of the beta because they give you all the materials and stuff
Yeah.
to like max level them. And
Yeah.
so I like went to max level them and I was like, okay, let me see here. So I was like picking and choosing as I was unlocking them. And you legit you can pick any of them to unlock.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's such an awesome change. And I would love to see more games do that because that really I think helps with power creep or maybe like any type of problems. So like, oh, behind you unlock this at C2. It's like, hey, if you're willing to get a constellation at C1, you can kind of mix and match. So like the core of it is so cool. And I genuinely love it. But I just feel like the execution fell flat for me in so many ways.
Hey, that just
know?
means getting additional dupes is more rewarding overall, especially if you only need one of them.
Yeah, I will say that there is a bonus when you get to C3 and C6 and you cannot deactivate those. That I would love for them to deactivate that. But other than that, like, I mean, I think Constellation system was dope, right? But Elemental Reaction's dope, Constellation's dope, but the actual combat itself just felt really bland, really stale. And I personally did not feel any improvements. I'm gonna be honest.
That's totally fine. What about you, Oofie?
Yeah, I remember the first beta. But yeah, with the dodging and the parrying, it did feel super inconsistent. And I am also not like a combat person, but like in comparison to like Wuwa, whenever like you're talking about like the impact, like you actually feel the impact, and whenever you parry, it does the ding, and like you know you got it, and it's loud, and you're like, yay, I can do something. But in NTE, you're just like hit. Oh my god, I can't, like, how did they hit me? I swear I dodged. Like it's so inconsistent.
We just
I-
suck, bro. We
I
just
just
suck.
wonder. I think with the
Yeah, it's a
pairing,
skill issue for me.
you know, I thought it was skill issue, but I think it's like skill management because the pairing it's easier when you save up your skill or you switch out with the character for like the intro outro stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where it becomes inconsistent because we're so used to like Wuwa and the fast parry that we kind of expect it. And so the moment when it doesn't happen, we're like, oh wait, like we actually had to manage our skills.
Yeah, because like there was some characters that like are slower than other characters, kind of like Kalkaro and Wuwa. So like, oh, it was just so all over the place, and I could not get a handle of it.
Oh yeah, I think was it Lacrimosa? She's oh no, not her. It's that demon with the
With
the
cross.
white the demon
Oh,
child with the
Fad-
big
Fad-
critter.
Cycle. Oh,
Yeah.
Suckety. Yeah.
Yeah. She plays really slow, and I had a hard time playing with her. But I think the dodge hit is really fluid for me, at least in NTE. That one was easy for me to pick up. The pairing though was really tough, personally.
Yeah, parrying sucks for me in every game, I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's
That's
really
just a you
satisfying.
problem.
I mean, it is. Like, we also I mean, we ran into that issue when we played Expedition 33 a little bit, too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Rubee-
guys... Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask about like the animations in the combat because when I was playing it, I didn't mind it, but then I noticed my chat mentioned it kind of felt bland. Like the animation, it was just like all flashy, but then nothing is like happening.
Yeah, like it does
I agree.
like the alt does the same amount of damage as like their basic. It's like, okay, you did all that.
No, I definitely don't disagree. I think that there needs to be a lot more in terms of the animations to stand out. I also think, though, that especially when compared to CBT1, because one of my 3 main complaints in the first beta were that the animations were terrible. I said the character models looked bad, and I said the world traversal, like the ability to run up walls and stuff, being locked behind a single character, needed to be removed. Those are my 3 main points of contention with the first beta test. I think that sorry, what?
Oh, sorry. No. You can continue first, and then I'll ask.
I think the animations have been improved a lot, but they're still far from like industry standards, I think, and from being, like really fluid. So I do understand where you're coming from, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. For the third point that you made with the running on the walls that's locked behind one character, Was it still happening in the second beta? Because I couldn't run up on the walls unless I had the girl.
Feeling it
Yeah.
sideways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There is a hidden feature in the game, and it can be used by every character. And our chat actually instructed us how to do this. You had to begin running on the wall and then hit the S button, like you're moving down. And then for whatever reason, that will allow you to wall run with any character. Now, don't tell NTE this because we don't want that fixed. But you could just use it on any character.
Yeah, so to elaborate a little bit, all the characters, right, like typically couldn't run up a wall. You could hold your W key and you do your little like small climb and then jump and then just kind of fall back in place for a second.
That's so awful. I hated
Dude,
that.
I had to run to like a domain or something at like the top of like a garage, and it legitimately took me like 4 minutes to get to the top, and I fell by accident. And I was like, I don't even want to, like, I just logged off after that. I'm like, I'm good, because it happened to me like the day before, and I'm like, I don't even want like anything crazy. Just give me like a wall run. That really felt clunky, unfortunately. I was just like, oh man.
So the wall running was, like, in terms of character, gating was locked to, and I really don't like how they pronounce her name, but Nanalie. So she was the one that could.
I thought it was Nanalie.
I thought it was Nanalie too, and then they start calling her in game. Everyone refers to her as Nanalie, and like I at that point I took my headset off. I had to take a second because I'm like, Nanalie. Okay, sure. But so the wall running was gated behind her, but just to elaborate a little bit more what Mrs. E said, it's unconfirmed if this was supposed to be a feature or a bug, but when sprinting sideways, so horizontally, if you held your S key while running horizontally, you immediately started running vertically up the wall, and you had to hold it while running up the wall. And then, yeah, you could still perform like jumps and other stuff while doing it, which means they definitely have like vertical wall running animated, like the animation for it in game. They just didn't have it set as a default for characters for whatever reason. So that might allude to the fact that they're planning on improving it, you know, or introducing it into the future. But I don't know.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember another thing about the combat that I didn't like was the camera work. There was just something about it. It was so all over the place. Like, I swear I would be fighting and then it would like travel, and then I'd be like stuck on a wall, and I'm like, I can't even see my character at this point. I'm like in the trees and like behind the walls and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm hitting this guy. But whatever. Yeah, the camera work needs help.
Rubee, did you want to elaborate any more on what you said, or?
For combat?
Yeah.
No, I think it was just what the others mentioned. It was kind of like the pairing. I wasn't used to it, so to me, I kind of brush off as like skill issue, because they did tell you to use like skill, and so instead of just spamming the click, I just felt like I had to rely on my skill management. But it would be nice if it was a little bit more consistent, or at least I understood when to like parry, just because half the time when I felt like I was trying to parry, it wouldn't go through, so I would just end up dodging instead. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
All right, Queenie.
With me, I have a crushed wrist, so I always use a controller. It's a lot easier for me than a mouse. And I felt like the dodging, either I was really bad at it, or I didn't have enough stamina to dodge or whatever. But every time I went to dodge, when it did that, it did like a ting, and then there was a big flash on the screen that they were gonna hit you with some, like a unavoidable thing. I would dodge and I would still get hit by it. So I wasn't sure about that. I was pissed because it's already hard for me to do that kind of stuff. But I definitely felt like I was failing because of that. But now that I've heard you guys say that that's actually something that's happened with you, I feel a lot better. I do think the controller support is pretty good, except for what I noticed with the dodging and then also the parrying. And I think it does have a lot of potential, but I agree where it looks and feels bland. It could be so much better. The rest of the game is such a amazing, beautiful environment You just want to see that kind of shit. Sorry, come out of your skills, you know? Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Stix.
So I'm not gonna echo kind of the sentiment of everyone else because I was just sitting here just nodding my head like yes. So to add on to what I enjoyed about the combat specifically, I'm gonna go back to the parrying system. I actually enjoyed that every single character in the game could parry because if you think of Woobot, not every character in that game can parry. Did you guys know that? So I appreciated that every character that I was playing in this game could parry, and there was multiple ways to parry. Like you could do a normal attack, you could do a plunge attack, you could do a skill, you can do the changing to a different character. So I appreciated the options of parrying. However, I do agree that the combat did feel stiff, lacking. I know chat continued to tell Stix, oh, the enemies also feel extremely bloated to you because you haven't built your character, but I am over here. I built my character to the nines. I did my console, I did my arc, and it was still quite bloated in enemies. And I was very disappointed, I guess, with how long it took. And even at the beginning of the game, when the enemies shouldn't be bloated, because you are fighting specific enemies that are for the beginning of the game that were bloated before you could even upgrade your character. So I would like to see that changed. I enjoyed the alts for most of the characters, but I feel like some of these characters really need their alt animations changed. And I agree with the dodging. I agree with the parrying at times. It's a little difficult to time. I don't know what it is about the timing. I appreciate the big red glow stating like, oh, something's coming that you need to dodge or parry. So I really, truly appreciated that. And I appreciated in each boss fight, there was different mechanics that would make the combat a little bit more interesting, even though it lasted a decade because of the bloated HP. So that's kind of what I feel. There's a lot of things that they need to work on, but a lot of things that I truly appreciate about that combat.
I actually wanted to ask you, what ult animation would you want changed? Like what characters?
So if I could change a character's ultimate, so the one winged girl, I really I didn't like that. I don't know why. It just felt weird. Because like you kind of fling up in the air, you have a motorcycle, you spin around in a circle, and I felt like every single bloody time I tried to use her, like she was more meant for ads than an actual boss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out her skill, but I also didn't read, so
Bro,
there's that.
Gacha gamers don't read.
No,
I
that
can't read.
why do you think the most requested feature in Gacha games is a skip? Because people don't want to read.
Yeah, but yup.
I actually tried to look for a tutorial for the characters and I couldn't find it because I was also trying to learn Hathor's playstyle because it was just kind of unique. At one point she's like spinning around with the motorcycle. So one of my points was like, I hope they add a tutorial for characters because I did spend some time browsing through the UI and I was like, okay, I don't see a tutorial and like I'm reading through the skills, but it's not really explaining. So I kind of agree with that.
I'm dumb. I need pictures.
Yeah, like I like how in Zenless there's like a whole section of just training and you can do every single character and it goes through like their basic attack, their skills, all that stuff, and they make it really easy to understand. And it's pretty quick too. Like it's usually like 3 stages and that's really it. And you get pool currency for it too, so they should add that for sure.
Yeah, I think they also add the little videos to it as well, so you could visually see
The
as
GIFs.
it's going on. Yeah, like the gifts. Like I think that'd be dope for sure.
Yeah, Zenless does amazing with that.
Well, there you go. Something to add in the future. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was gonna elaborate on Mrs. Stix about. I like that you explained that you did build your characters with the HP inflation because when I was playing, I just kind of blamed myself. I was like, oh, it's because I didn't build my characters. You know, they don't really walk you through on how to build your characters with the console. So you do have to explore and find it yourself too. And so when you explained that you did build your characters all the way with the console stuff, it made me realize like, okay, it's like the game, not me. Because my chat was like, oh wow, you're fighting this boss for like a really long time. But at the same time, I'm like level 30, but I just don't have like the consoles. So I was like wondering whether that was like the mob thing or like a player thing. It's a little bit of both.
It was probably more than likely the bloated HP, because I had even like my console pieces. I think they were called modules. I'm trying to remember, because I've worked, slept, eaten food since then. But I even upgraded those to max, and everything within them was pink tier. I forget what that was. So I didn't have any blue modules. It was all pink. I had them all maxed out for the level I was, and I still took forever killing bosses. Now the ads though, I mean that for sure was a lot easier, but still the bosses, it took forever.
Okay, what do we think about the game graphically though? Because I think, at least specifically pertaining to the character models or the character animations, as I did note, the animations were a point of contention for me originally, having played, I think I streamed for like 3-4 days of the OG beta, and I couldn't wrap my head around how kind of like blocky the characters felt when they walked, how stiff they were, and how like unfluid their movements were and everything. But then this one, while I still feel like it could be improved by a solid amount, I think that the character movements overall were still a stark improvement. I think there's a lot of room, a lot of space to improve further, but graphically, I think the game looks, and I know Queenie mentioned this, but very beautiful. Like the areas are some of them are woody and foresty and really feel dense, and then you have the urban districts that all look contrastingly different to any other open world game we have right now. I think that when you kind of, and this might just be a me thing, but like once you make it outside of like the urban districts and you get to the more lush, lavish, grassy areas, I think the game really like comes into itself. Because I come from
the neighborhoods, like the traditional like Japanese neighborhoods.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was my like favorite area.
Yeah,
I loved it. I took so many pictures in my 8.6. Like in the like sidewalks and stuff with all the houses, because it just felt very like 90s anime, and I was like, oh, this is perfect for my 8.6 car. Like I took so many pictures.
Yeah, so I think like graphically that is where the game really shines, not so much in the urban aspect, but in the fantasy, more Japanese, Chinese inspired foresty, and then in some instances there were like the ruined buildings and stuff like that, and mansions and everything. That was all incredible. And then I also like the dark aesthetic of when you're like walking through the street, then suddenly the world flips upside down, and then you just like pop and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like there are really cool aesthetics like that present. So I think graphically the game, it's beautiful, and they've done a lot with it. But sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I actually agree with you, because this is my first beta. I only knew it as like the overworld driving, and I felt like obviously we were talking about combat earlier. I felt like the game itself in this second beta focused a lot more on overworld, open world exploration, because the graphics was just beautiful. And so that's why in my mind I was like, oh, like the climbing on the walls, the combat, and the movement feel stiff, like when you're sprinting and stuff. There's like a slight like hard stop when you're sprinting, so it's not completely smooth. But they did put in a lot of time with the overworld, like with the rain, the snow, the sunshine, when you're driving and stuff. So yeah, I feel like, at least for me, with my first experience, my overall thought was like, oh, they really focus on the open world aspect for sure.
Yeah, the environment's beautiful. I love the oversaturated colors. I'm like a sucker for the TikTok, like super light colors. Like every game I play, I make them look like that. Like, I love it. I thought it looked beautiful.
I love the bright colors.
100%.
I want my rods and cones in my eyes to just feel every ounce of that color.
Yeah, just like make it super saturated. Yeah, I put a NVIDIA filter on everything. The environment looked beautiful. Absolutely.
Oofie, what did you think?
Yeah, like I said, with like the differences in like the areas and stuff, and also how like it feels a lot bigger than like what the map makes it seem like almost, because like there was like many times where I'm like, okay, where do I need to go? Like, okay, I'm trying to find this car dealership with deluxe cars, and then I'm like driving and I'm like 5 seconds and it looks like it's gonna take me a while to get there, and then I'm like, and I'm there, and it's like a completely different area. And I just loved all the differences in the areas. Is so cool.
They did expand
So many
the
photo opportunities.
right, but they expanded the world from the first closed beta by double, so that also made it much larger to explore. Did y'all get to explore the second half of the map for this one?
No, not
What
really.
was that? I don't know.
No.
I did a lot of exploring, but I couldn't tell you where exactly I went.
I explored, but it was like I just kind of drove around. I did unlock certain parts of the map though. Oh, do you mean second part, like the darker map? There's 2 maps.
Well, yeah, it's like split into 2. They added an entire section to the east, I think it was, or to the northeast or something.
I just there was a second map that I didn't get to explore. I can tell you
North
that.
and east, brother. I know up, down, left, right, but now you're saying north and east. Oh,
I'm
what?
like,
Oh.
I'm like, never eat.
Oh my god.
Left or right?
Which one? Where was it at, Stix?
I'm sorry. Top right. Top right.
Top right. Top right.
Yeah.
Top right. I don't want to lie to you. I really don't think I did, to be honest with you. I'm gonna have a little bit.
I think
Oh,
he's
yeah?
talking about where the ghost train was. I think that's the
Oh,
area.
I didn't get
Ghost
there.
train. I don't think so.
No. Not
I
me.
rode both of the regular trains through every station.
Oh, that was a lovely experience. Good on that experience.
I will say
Yeah.
though, with the graphics, one thing I really like is if you go to like artifact domains or like talent domains, like one of them, like it's like this, it's like a clown show. Like when you go in,
Yeah.
it has like a really cool, unique vibe to it. Or like you go to another domain, it's a little bit darker. Like I do like visually, the game is just like top tier. I will say that. Like I really think it looks beautiful, and it does make those individual like domains feel unique. So you're not like just farming. Let's say like, all right, you're farming like your talent mats or whatever, but it just feels cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I liked how
I did.
the like character mats. There was like one, it was like the clown one, but you could farm 3 different things there. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's convenient. I like that.
Ruby,
We're
did
talking
you
about,
have
like,
Sorry, go on.
yeah, no. If we're talking about animation, like open world stuff, that one's nice. But I do want to talk about like the gacha animation. I felt like the gacha animation was very lacking. I love rolling dice. I love gacha. I love pulling. But unfortunately, there was like a lot of things with the gacha animation that I was like, oh, I wish that they had like a 3x speed, right? Instead of like, because if you're doing a 10
the whole
pull,
thing, yeah.
yeah, you know, if you want to do a 10 pull, you want to click through it, but then if you skip the entire thing, even the gold pull.
Bro, I skipped everything. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah.
After the first time I did a tempo, I was like, okay, like respectfully, this is a long time. I'm going.
But it's like exciting for the chat, right? Like they want to see if you'll get the gold, but then because it's so slow, so yeah, I wish they had like a 3x, 2x, 1x, 1.5x speed for that one as well. And then it's unfortunate because then when you skip the whole thing, it skips the S rank. So that's like the only thing I could think of animation wise. This is like, I guess this is another thing with exploration. I know that they wanted us to focus heavily on like robbing people and taking their cars and driving around. But I kind of like convenience. I kind of wish the telephone portals were a little bit more convenient to get to, because
Yeah.
I struggled trying to get to like the other shops, not just the main shop, but like the repair shop. I had to drive over there. Although I wish it was easier. But this is like a personal preference.
No, I'm
because-
with you.
Okay, you know, like,
Absolutely.
NT is about like driving. You know, they want to enforce people to drive and explore, use the motorcycles, the new cars, maybe even climb the walls in the buildings. But I was like, oh, it feels like a lot trying to click through the map to find where I need to go. Well, maybe I guess I just wish they would make like a key legend for the map, so I wouldn't have to find like certain, like where the repair shop is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I had to say about the animations though. It's good. There's potential. some other stuff like the gacha pulls needs to be worked on. For sure.
Yeah, they should add actual like the S rank animations to the gacha, because they don't. It's just like you got it. Like there is no like cool animation that they do. They're just like, here it is. This is what you got. And I think they need to redo the entire gacha system, like the whole dice roll. Like I hate it. It's I hate it. It needs to go away. I hate seeing when I missed one. I'm like, they should like just hide it. Like I like doing a 10 pull, and then I like being able to just skip like click. I don't want to know what I missed. You know. I hate it. It makes me so angry.
The rates are really good though, which I do like, and maybe that's why 50, to me. That's why to me, when I see I miss one, it's like hilarious because like, oh wow, it's like right there.
Yeah, it drives me insane.
Well, before we move into the gacha topic, Queenie, what did you think about the graphics?
I thought they were absolutely gorgeous. I really liked the fact that I went and stole a car, and then I just drove through a tunnel, and the tunnel turned into this like flying whale. It was so cool. And then I went through another portal, and suddenly I was in like Alaska or something. And yeah, I just thought that was so cool that you go from like an urban to like, I don't know, you have no idea where the hell you are, but it is absolutely beautiful. And then all of a sudden it's like you're in Alaska. I just thought that was so cool. I have never seen that in another game, and I thought that was very unique, and I love unique aspects to games.
Yeah, I like that when you're just like driving, you'll enter into like the anomaly world, and then you have to fight the mobs randomly.
Yes.
So that's like another thing. Yeah, it's like a surprise, you know.
Wait, y'all do that every time I drive? I just hit a wall.
Are we gonna?
We gotta get to a steering wheel.
We're gonna have like a section about bosses and stuff, right? I shouldn't talk about those bosses at the
moment. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the
right.
bosses too. Yeah.
All right, bet.
All right.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the driving too.
Yep.
I focused a lot on the driving and racing.
Yeah, I saw some of your tweets.
Yeah, I am all about the cars and the racing, and I have lots of things.
Okay, what did you think about the graphics, babe?
So I thought the graphics were good. I'm probably in the minority here though, when they were showcasing their graphical upgrades, like especially the characters. I was like, oh, so you just made them shinier and gave them more bangs and stuff. Like I don't really see the change, but I do see it in the grass. I can appreciate that. And another thing, as a graphical snob, because I am, it is a beautiful game, but when I go to take a picture with the camera function, I need them to fix that, please. It was horrible. I can't pose my character. I'm just kind of like...
You're just standing there,
posing,
just arms down, yeah.
Let me take pictures of the pretty game, please.
Yep.
But also to kind of come back to the gacha aspect as well, just to kind of touch on that and the graphics for that. As I was telling our chat, this isn't really triggering my dopamine receptors. It doesn't make me go, oh gosh, I want to keep pulling for these characters. It was boring. Extremely boring. There's no flashy lights or anything. The point of gacha games is technically to be like gambling. It's supposed to excite your brain into being like, I want to do more of this. It just truly was not any of that graphically for me with the polling at all. There was no excitement, no blinky lights, nada.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Regarding the gacha though, since we'll just move into that now, since everyone has been talking about it already, the rates are really good. Right, you get that guarantee. I was at 90, I think. So you get the guarantee at 90, and
so. Yeah,
and then the guarantee carries over to the next limited character as well, right? So if you get to like 88, when the next banner starts, you start off at 88 rather than restarting at 0. So I thought that was a phenomenal inclusion there, because Arknights Enfield, the guarantee. And I'm sure the Arknights Enfield players will correct me if I'm wrong, but if I recall, Arknights Enfield resets the guarantee even if you're at like 79 out of 80 or something like that. I remember mentioning that I didn't like that, and I thought that was really bad. but NTE not resetting it back between, you know, banner releases, I think is really free to play friendly. So the rate's incredible. The fact that there's no 50-50 for anything is, you know, genre changing, because if more gacha games include this and just cut the 50-50 out altogether, then fuck yeah. But as everyone mentioned, I've not met a single person that was like, man, I love the Monopoly style Mario Party-esque, you know, theme of actually pulling. So that is, you know, the worst, probably the worst part of the entire beta experience for me. That needs to be removed.
That is a lie. There's one person in chat right now that said they enjoyed it.
That's me.
That's that one person. Sounds that one homie.
I enjoyed the Monopoly, but it's just the rolling. It was where I felt like it was lacking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, do you want to go around one by one? Okay, yeah, let's go. Ethan.
I thought it was cute, but like I think the intention behind it was like, oh my god, I'm right there. Let me go do another pull. But like it was a little unconventional. But like you said, I think the overall gacha mechanics are really great. I got nothing bad to say about it. I will say I am just a little concerned when the game goes live how like pull income would be. Since it is technically a 50-50, I don't think there is a weapon banner, right? There's no weapon banner.
Not currently.
I just don't know. Yeah, I pray to God.
There was like a weapon shop thing where it is kind of like
it's the arc you pull on those.
Yeah, they look like little CDs.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, as long as the pull income is like decent, but other than that, I think the gacha is great. I would change it. Like, even if they want to keep the board, I think like you should make it special. Like, if I land on a character, it should have the whole shebang, the sound effects, the movie, and there should be a 3x speed. Like, I don't think they need to necessarily remove it, but make it feel more impactful. Because again, it was cool, but
I will elaborate a little bit. I don't think it's bad, like, you know, just as a feature. I think it's executed badly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I feel like that's a lot of the things. It's like, this is a really great idea, and if we polish this a little bit, it could be 20 times better, right?
Okay, what does everyone else think about the gacha then, Oofie?
Well, okay, so I'm in the boat where I hate it because like you said, like you could see you have one more space, and that's the S rank. But then you'll do one more pull. Like if I'm out of pulls and I'm buying a pull, and then I roll a 6 and I miss that S rank, I'm never pulling on that ever again.
That's gacha though. It's so fun.
I am F-alting 4. But whenever I'm like, oh, okay, I'm at 70 or what is it, 90? So if I'm at like 89 pity, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of pulls, I'm gonna buy a pull because I'm gonna get it in the next one. Like I know I'm gonna get it. But I don't know. I hate being able to see that I literally just missed an S rank.
Hey, on the bright side, the closer you are to pity, the board becomes more gold.
Yeah,
I did see that too.
They called it, but yeah, they like flipped it.
Yeah,
they should have added more 4 stars too, because I feel like I did like 20 pulls and I had maxed out all the 4 stars or the A ranks or whatever. I was like, dang, okay, well, I got a bunch of extra A ranks that are just going to nothing.
Rubee, did you have anything else you wanted to add on to what you mentioned earlier?
Aside from what I had mentioned, just like the speeding stuff, I think for the weapon one, I think it's just like a regular pull where you just kind of click through it. It's the same thing as the characters, I believe. But it was more RNG because it was like a rate up, but you weren't guaranteed until like your 40th, until like a certain amount of pulls, I think. I don't know. I like the board. I like the Monopoly Go style. I love dice and board games. So to me, seeing the fact that I miss it by like 1 or 2 is kind of, it's like funny to me. So I find enjoying that. But that's like a gambler's like mindset, you know.
Yeah, I'm so not a gambler. I went to a casino one time and I didn't even want to use $20. I was terrible.
It's like the excitement.
90% of the gamblers stop before they hit it big. You just got to keep going.
Exactly.
That's all you got to do.
So
don't encourage them.
Yeah.
Don't stop, won't stop.
In chat real quick, there was Potato did make a good point. He stated that the board needs more to do other than just roll, like a more risk reward stuff. So maybe you can, you know, increase the rate with which you can.
What if you went to jail like Monopoly?
That would be hilarious.
Oh.
That would be so bad, but that would be hilarious.
Oh,
Right,
God.
right. You could do like double your chances of SSR unit acquisition, but if you fail, then you get sent to jail for an allotted amount of time or something. That'd be crazy.
They had the rainbow bridge where when you land on that, you go to the special section. Like that was the only thing that was kind of different. But it was hard to get because there's literally 2 tiles. So yeah,
I
there was like
literally-
a chance. It'd be
I
cool.
did 200 freaking pools and never once went to the rainbow bridge.
Oh, I went there a few times, but
So I gotta
Yeah.
keep pulling.
Sugar
You
luck.
gotta keep going.
I had to wait for them to give me more pools.
All right, Queenie, what
Yeah.
did you think?
I definitely see what they're trying to do. They're trying to set themselves apart from every other gacha game. If they do stick with the board game, I would definitely make it flashier because we love that stuff. And that's what makes us feel like we won, right? And for me, it was probably just my luck. RNG sucks for me. But
Same.
no offense to the guys, but I like playing the sexy waifus. And my first 20 pulls was just like the husbandos. And I was like, really? I had to wait till they gave me more pulls to finally get a waifu. And before I got there, I completely maxed out Mint. So yeah.
Mint's cute.
She is cute, but it would have been nice to be able to try all the characters, you know? I didn't get to do that.
That's okay. I always get the men and the little kids pretty much every time. And I fail every 50-50 in every game. But if there is a male character, he's mine. If there is a little kid character, they are mine. The attractive waifus, never.
I don't have that problem. The waifus just fall into my lap. I don't have that problem.
I
you
mostly
Riz?
played with the one guy who looks like Sunday. And
Oh, Baikong?
Yeah. And oh frick. I also play with Yayori. The Ebon lady. She's got like black hair. Very like Chinese aesthetic. I forget her name. I play with her a lot.
Hattori?
Yeah,
Yeah, Hattori.
Yeah, Hattori,
Oh,
Hattori,
yeah, Hattori.
I will say though, my favorite
She's good.
design and character out of all of them though is probably Fadia.
Same.
I
Same.
love her
Oh my God.
ult. She like takes off like half of her clothes. I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yes. I love her when she fights with her giant cross. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
her like idols and stuff.
Yes.
She's like, what are you staring at and stuff like that. Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
she's
good
a
for
Dami
her.
mommy for sure.
Yep. I will say, I think we needed more male characters because I'm a husbando lover. So I liked Baisong or Baikong, however you say his name.
But he
But-
had butterflies.
Yeah,
Man,
he was
had
like-
butterfly man.
Not my type. So I did not, however, play much with the dog guy, but that's
Yep.
also not really what I'm into either.
I don't like that character. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't.
I thought he had a
get
cool like skill because he uses like
Goes underground.
shadows and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's actually the shadow that really bothers me. I don't know. There's something about it visually. I just like it. I can't get used to it. I don't know. Maybe it's a me problem because it's so different. But I've just never seen something like that before. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's happening. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy with the cane, I was a little confused on how to play with him first because it was like, is this a gun?
the shielder, dude.
Yeah, he's like half gun.
The
half
4-star, right?
melee. Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy that like looks like Welt. I forget his name. He's from.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
that's
like
what
a
Mrs.
shield.
Stix said.
Thank you.
Okay.
Somebody else think he looks like well. Thank you so much.
Yes. And he's always got his eyes closed and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, this old man.
Adler.
Yeah,
Adler.
Brock from Pokemon.
Adler. Yes.
Adler.
hmm Yeah, I was confused on his gameplay a lot, so I did not play with him. Fadia was my queen.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you think of the gacha though?
Well, I think I kind of covered the gacha already, how it didn't speak to my dopamine receptors, and I was a little bit sad. Other than that, I mean, it's a creative idea. If they could potentially spin it to be more like a board game, I mean, go for it. It could be interesting. But yeah, they need to work on it. I do appreciate that the pity rolls over. There's a lot of things I appreciate about the dupes. The fact that you don't really need all 6 dupes because you can choose what specifically you want in terms of skills. But yeah, I mean, it was all right. Just boring.
Since we're talking about the characters, though, that does kind of go to another topic I added. That is the voice acting. So, in my tweet, I noted, and this upset, like, every Tower Fantasy White Knight there is. I said 2/3 of the voice acting was great. 1/3 of the voice acting sounded like AI. I've said that several of the characters' voices were really bad, but the majority of them were actually very good. And then there was one instance where I thought that the voice acting, while good, really didn't fit the character, and that was in the case of Baitong, the long white hair guy. And that is because I think he had Child's voice actor from Genshin Impact, but in using that, he sounds like a 12-year-old boy with the body of a man. And then you have characters that are like, you know, the 4-star dude with the cane. He sounds great. You have the dog guy, right? And I'm sorry, I don't know any of the other characters' names. It doesn't matter how many times. But his voice was great. You know, Hotori's voice was great. Fadia, the purple-haired girl, her voice was great. So there were a lot of really good, talented voice actors present. But there were still some that just were so immersion breaking for me because they sounded robotic and pretty much like AI. Additionally, the chick in the intro that wore the business suit, dude, that drove me nuts. Her voice was so grating to my ears. But am I the only one? Like, what you guys think?
Remember what she sounded like, to be honest. But I played the male MC, and I really liked his voice, and it was really familiar, and I don't know who it is. But
I don't know. I thought the VAs were all right. I didn't really. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a lot of really like in the cutscenes, the game was lagging for me, so I had to wind up just skipping them. I don't know why. Maybe it's a computer thing. I don't know. But the one that I really remembered, like we have the awesome intro cutscene, and then we're in the limo. And like the auto-tune thing, I just like tuned out. I was like, oh my god, like,
dude,
that was like you liked it. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh man. Like,
am I the only person here though that hated Tagedon?
No, I did not really like Tagito. Like, I like him, but I think we focused a little too much on him at one point, and I'm like, okay, I'm over this. All I hear is Tagito, 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 Tagito. And I'm like, I don't want to read this whole thing. Like, he's literally a Pokemon who just says his name over and over again.
This
little TV guy.
Yeah, the little TV mouse thing.
Dog thing.
That was in the first beta, right? I believe.
Yeah, but
he was in the first beta as well.
I don't think
he was voiced.
Yeah, there was. I don't remember the focus on him being like that. I remember him being introduced in the scene where everyone was giant. Or, sorry, where he was giant, everyone was tiny. I remember him there, but I don't really remember much focus on him outside of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole next part of the story where we focus on, like, his aura farming for a date. And I was like, I'm so over this.
I thought it was actually really fun. I personally liked it. It brought a lot of personality to like the story, but I do wonder if it's better as a side quest than a main quest.
That was mostly my argument about it. It was because like we had just got done with like a really good like world building quest and dialogue, and then they literally are like, oh, like let's talk about this more, and then she's like, or we could talk about what we can buy with the money that we just got from that commission. And then it goes into the Tagito stuff. And I'm like, what happened to the plot?
Yeah, but yeah, the entire Tagito quest was like honestly really fun. But then part of me was like, oh, now I got confused with what the main story was. But it was solid.
The cutscenes were amazing.
Yeah, cutscenes amazing. I loved how each character had a lot of personality playing into Tagito's like bodyguard. and like manager and stuff. I
And they were,
love
like,
the
pretending to
arcade
be, like
too.
scary bad guys. I thought
Yeah,
that was cute.
yeah. Like the cut. You know what? NTE does a really good job with the cutscene animation. Those are super immersive and really well done.
Yeah, they're
I
very
agree with that.
flashy and
Yeah.
like bright, and they do like the comic-y like
Yes.
backgrounds and
The
like
characters
the
are
little
expressive.
graphics and things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cool. I like their cutscenes.
The narrative presentation for this game is, I think, arguably one of the best in Gacha right now. Not necessarily the narrative, but the narrative presentation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Very
before,
expressive.
oh, for real, yeah, no, 110%. But before we delve into that topic, Queenie, what did you think? Or no, wait, Oofie, what did you think about the voice acting?
It was good. At least most of it. I didn't get to go through a lot of the story, but at least the parts that I did go through, I really liked the male MC. He did a pretty good job, which is rare usually. And yeah, I think most of the other characters did pretty well. I can't really think of a point where I was like, this sounds bad.
What about you, Rubee?
You mentioned the lady in the suit. I think because I was captivated by her like design. I actually did not mind how she sounded. I thought it fit her personality because she's like in a suit. She's kind of like the bodyguard for Hattori and stuff. Voice acting wise, I didn't think too much of it. I did think some of the male characters like, okay, I want to call him Baikong, but they pronounce it Baitong in the story. I
Well, yeah,
thought his voice
as someone that's also half Chinese, my Chinese family pronounce it as in TS, Baitong, like that.
so
Okay,
Baitong.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought, and I was like,
Okay.
I thought there was like a s in there, and then
Yeah, a lot of weird North American pronunciation of Asian names are just so bizarre. Because this happens in like every. This happens in Wuwa, it happens in, some Genshin games too. I think there was actually a content creator that blew up, this female content creator, where she did like correct pronunciations and enunciations for different Genshin character names a while ago.
Yeah, Ying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's because different people from different regions, different dialects, and everyone pronounces it differently. So it's just it's so bizarre hearing everyone's interpretations of it. But yeah, go on.
Because like XI is she, and then like SHI is like sure, and it's just like it's like little differences and stuff. Yeah, I get confused.
Yeah, I remember when Wu had that, a lot of people wondered if that would like alienate or like make people like, because obviously people are calling like they're referencing characters like Sephiroth, instead of Kalcharo or like other names. But names to me are like no problem. The voice acting wise, honestly, it was fine. I do think some people recognize the voice actors from other games. They were like, oh, Hu Tao, child. And I'm like, oh, I can't tell. The only thing for me was when you're playing the game in autoplay, at the very end of the dialogue, you're still stuck in the scene. It doesn't end. You have to click out of the scene. So like when you
I noticed
leave it,
that too.
Yeah, when you leave it running, it could just end right there, and you're sitting there wondering if there's like another dialogue following it.
Yeah,
But
you're like waiting. You're like it's silent for a while.
Yeah, you're stuck there until you click out, and then you can move on. But I don't know if that counts towards the voice acting. It's just more like autoplay with the voice acting. You just get stuck there.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I do think beta-wise, people can be more harsh about it. Just because it's beta, you can still fix things. Whereas if it's released and people aren't happy with the voice acting, then that's kind of like too late. I don't know. I didn't think too much about it, to be honest. I think maybe the animation cutscenes really like got me. It was beautiful. I loved how expressive they are. So to me, I focus on that more than like the overall dialogue during it.
That's understandable. What about you, Queenie? What do you think about the voice acting?
There aren't any voices that really stuck out to me that I didn't like, but I absolutely love Fadia and the witch. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They are so hot. Please let me play the witch. I want to play the witch.
Yeah, why isn't she a playable character right now?
Right?
She's the
It's
face.
a tease.
She's on the graphic for NTE though, right? When you load into the game.
Yeah.
She's like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also in like the background of several of their promotional material. So yeah, they'll probably add her in. I mean, I feel like with each beta stage, they typically tend to, not just NTE or HADA, but like, you know, Gacha games in general, they tend to add in additional characters. So I'm assuming for CBT3, they're probably going to introduce her and a couple others. So
Good.
would you?
Yeah, she'll probably have a big part in the next part of the story, if I had to guess.
What'd you think of the voice acting though?
Oh boy. I kind of agree with the Tagido thing. That was the main thing that made me angry. Everything else, I mean, it was okay. But I mainly wanted to talk about the story aspect as well, because I know we briefly touched on that, but I enjoyed the very beginning of the story. And then I did play Tower Fantasy. When we got to the Tagido section, it really reminded me, and this, if there's anyone that played Tower Fantasy, speak up. It kind of reminded me of I think his name was Melio. It was this marionette boy. And that part of the story just to me felt like it came out of nowhere, and it's supposed to be cutesy and funny, but it just felt really weird amongst everything else. And I don't think it belongs there, and if they want it to belong there, they need to work on that. I thought the story about the dog, I think his name was Dandelion, that was so cool and so cute and explained anomalies beautifully. I thought Tagido, they also tried to explain the anomalies with that story, but it was annoying to have to go through. And then once we got to the story aspect where you are doing the auctioning with Hattori, that was so boring.
Did you guys get drunk during the auction?
Yeah,
I drank everything, and it was like all woo. I was like, okay, I like this. That's cool. I like
Wait. Was it all woo or was it all wee?
It was wee. Definitely wee. But like to add into the story, it felt like there was a lot of very slow, like even just moving into that when you're drinking a bunch of drinks, like you get called over by the little girl who's like showing you the cupcakes that are all lined up, and she pulls out her little hamster ball, and you stand there, and I kid you not, for like 3 minutes watching this hamster suck up cupcakes and then barf it out. Thank you for wasting my life.
Yeah, that was so unnecessary. And I was like, damn, like they don't know that I just took all the cupcakes off the table in the other room.
Every last one of them.
Everyone. Even the giant cakes. There was nothing on those tables when I was done.
I do like that it's really interactive, because when you're eating and then suddenly you have customers come and they're like, where's the food? And then like, I like that every NPC has its own dialogue to your surroundings. That one was really cool too.
All right, let's talk about the story, the narrative, its presentation, everything. That since we're on that topic, I think the intro to the game was so good, right? Like, because before when I played the first closed beta test, I feel like there was no real intro. You're just kind of in like the office building, and then you're like out in the world, and then you're in front of the train. And then you're like, cool, you know, this is a world.
Oh, yeah.
So
I got no
you
backstory
didn't
on
have
who I
that
am.
intro. You didn't have that like whole intro cutscene and stuff. Yeah.
So now you're introduced to the game. You're introduced to certain characters, and it's great. You know, the theme and the setting of it all is dark. It's messed up, and it comes off really great. And then that is it. You know, like for the most part, like everything that comes after that beginning bit seems like in anime how you have that beach vacation side story episode all the time. I feel like after the intro to the game, it kind of like segues into a side story for a lot of it, and that I think detracted from my enjoyment at that specific point. I'm sure like, much further down, because we need time to develop lore for a game, backstory for characters and everything, it'll get back on track, but like it veers off track really early, and then it just sets you up with this fun, happy, engaging to some extent story where the animations and everything look incredible. As I mentioned earlier, the narrative presentation is one of the best. The characters are all so expressive and animated. I think the story though really needs a focal point, and they haven't found that yet. What do you think, Ethin?
No, I agree. I just thought maybe the story wasn't for me because I was like, the intro was awesome. And then after that, I saw how it kind of went. I was like, okay, like I kind of saw what they were going for. So I wasn't really too critical of it because I'm like, it probably just, I'm not the target audience, you know? Like I don't need death and destruction or something. But it, like you said, it was, oh, this is so crazy. Okay, now like the complete vibe shift, and then it just stayed on that vibe. I will also say that there was this one mission in the first beta and still in this mission, and maybe I'm just like really dumb, and that's a high possibility. But the mission where like you have to run through the doors, you know what I'm talking about? Like there was like the teleporters where you teleport. I genuinely, like, with a passion, that mission really like made me crash out. Like that mission just felt like a complete time waster, and the boss fight at the end was actually pretty cool because like it transforms and everything. But getting to that point, I tapped out of the story in the first beta.
Oh,
and
was
I
it the
tapped
one
out
with
of
the dog?
Yeah. Where you go into it's like there's
it's
the
like
The
the main
platforms
expansion.
like they
they
flip
switch,
around.
but then when they
Oh.
flip, there's no other alternative like door. It's literally only
before
there
that.
just to waste time.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
you gotta
like,
wait for it to
doesn't-
flip back
doesn't
over,
flip-
and
yeah, it
okay.
doesn't flip back
I know.
over.
Yeah,
so
you gotta-
can't even get
you gotta
get
run
to
back
the
across,
original.
and then wait for it to flip again, and then run back onto the platform.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's-
oh man. I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna like make, again, maybe that's their design, but to me, and then when you get to that point, and then you enter like the domain, and I'm running through this, and I'm just losing my mind. I'm like, dude, like I know it's supposed to be trippy, but maybe it's a little too trippy for me. But again, I checked out after that. I was like, I can't deal with this like a second time. Like I'm good. So
Dude, I just wanted to fall
started
off.
skipping. Yeah, no, legitimately,
That's
I
it.
actually got to the point where I was messing up so much they just skipped me to the boss. Because I don't know if it was
That happened to
bugged.
me too.
Wait, so I'm not the only one that happened? Okay.
You see, either so that's the thing. If it happened to multiple people, I don't know if that's the design choice, because it really feels like it's trying to be like a psychedelic or something. And I'm like, I don't enjoy this. And I don't know. I know for at least for me, it turned me off of the story. I was like, I'm good. Like,
No, they're just like, you are so bad at this mechanic, we're just gonna allow for it to skip it entirely.
Yeah, I mean, well, God bless, you know. But yeah, I don't think the story is for me. But like you said, I think it is expressive. I think it has some of the best storytelling. But I would love for them to kind of get a more focal point and not just veer off and come back to the main story 2 years later, you know, or whatever, however long. So yeah.
What do you think, Oofie?
As a big story and lore person, I was very disappointed. Like I loved the intro. It was great. It was a great introduction to the world building and the lore and all the characters and everything. And then it was just like an abrupt stop. They were like, no, they literally were like, no, we're done talking about the main story. And then it's just like, now you are employed and we have all these jobs for you to do. Have fun with your day job. Like, okay, I'm playing a game. I want to immerse myself. This is escapism. I'm not here to work a job. Like, this is main story quest. It should be main story content, not side content. That should be a side quest. But yeah, and then some of the like puzzles, like the weird platforms and the portals and stuff, that needs to be cut down like a lot. Like a little bit is fine and good, but like make it half as much. I can't spend 30 minutes between dialogue every single time. It's rough, but that's pretty much it, I think.
I
What
thought
about
the
you, Rubee?
platforming stuff was actually really unique and cool. Before we go to the domain thing, I was kind of curious about it, but I didn't think too much. I kind of just went through, and so I didn't really struggle with it personally. And then everything else was like
We're just dumb.
Yeah,
Me and Oofie are just dumb. It is what it is. I've accepted my fate.
I was about to say no offense, Ethin, but
Yeah,
okay.
I'm leaving.
It was like pretty immersive. It was like, you know, like that entire quest. I was like, oh, this is like really unique. Maybe just because I haven't played a lot of gacha games, but like, it just felt something new, you know. And then I do want to mention again, I agree. The main story starts off really strong with the cutscenes, the story building, and then we get put into the open world, and that's where I want to like mention again that I felt that NTE is focusing a lot on the open world aspect. They want you to explore. They they're immersing you through like the driving, you know, the exploration and stuff. Because then obviously that's when we go off to the side with the dandelion and then Tagiro and then the auction. So it kind of jumps around, to be honest, but I just felt like they were definitely pushing the agenda for like open world exploration, driving cars, go explore. So then you can
like,
kind
they
of
don't want you
learn.
to just solely do the main story content.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
yeah.
want you to do other stuff in between.
Yeah, they definitely focus on. They want you to focus on like the interaction with the NPCs and the cars a lot more. And then story is kind of like on the side. That's what I felt.
What'd you think, Queenie?
I get really nervous, especially in situations like this, because I've never done a podcast before. So I actually wrote something about the content, the concept behind the story, because I feel like it hits home for me. Having lived the life that I have, I feel like the game introduces an important concept that anomalies aren't just weird events that happen around the world. They are manifestations of emotions that as humans we all go through. Feeling guilty, lonely, sadness, and pain, not working through those things tends to eat us alive. And in Neverness, Everness, for certain characters, not working through those traumas creates something even larger than themselves in the form of anomalies. It's basically a metaphor for how, as humans, if we don't handle and heal from the trials and tribulations life throws at us, we basically create a monster. Absolutely love this concept because it's something that I feel so many of us can relate to, and that is the kind of story that makes the game incredible. So I'm excited to see where they go with it.
The concept that you explained is really beautiful, but I think the execution was poor on that end because it does disperse, and so that's why I was like, oh, like the cutscenes, like even the beginning, the boss, when you see the picture frames and you kind of learn about like those stuff are really beautiful, but it does kind of like die off because then now you're like, we're too busy exploring and doing other stuff. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Which I think leads us back to the point where we think it just needs to be executed better because they're all great ideas. So, what did you think about the story or the presentation, though?
I feel like I kind of started this. I feel like by the time I talk about something again, I've already talked about it from the beginning. But the story, it really overarching, I think needs to be streamlined a little bit. I kind of agree with you that it felt like we went from like, we're on the beachfront, we're like digging through the trenches, like war is happening everywhere, and we're like, oh my gosh, this looks so amazing. And then you're like, and now the beach vacation episode starts. That was a little bit jarring. I understand that we need to world build, but you know, you can certainly add in a little bit more of that dark and really epic part into that as well. Like, I could tell they attempted that in the Tagido story because, well, we got the big anomaly at the end. I forget what it was called, but it had like a bow on its head. And to me, that just kind of trivialized the anomaly aspect, how it's supposed to be this dark, foreboding thing that could potentially kill us. I don't know. It just made it look funny.
Yeah.
All right.
I also think they put way too much in the text messaging. I swear, I felt like I was just clicking through the text, just not even reading them. There was too many characters texting me all at once.
You've never played you've never played games like Blue Archive or anything then, have you? Because they're like, you do a little bit of the game, here are 73 people that are now texting you, and you're like, and close. Like, whenever I stream the game, people are like, dude, you have 99 unread messages from every single character you've recruited. And I'm like, yeah, because I've never clicked any of them.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I hate having the little red exclamation mark on my UI, so I make sure to read everything. And oh my god, the text messaging was I felt like I spent most of my time playing the game clicking through the text messages, and I'm like, I'm not even reading these. I mean, I would like to, but there's too many. It's too much. They need to dial that back a lot.
They had that in Tower of Fantasy as well, and I just ignored it because I don't want to do that. I want to play the game.
Yeah.
Like if my
And I
real life
feel
friends started texting me that much, I'd tell them to just call me.
Yes. And like I do feel like there was a lot of like character building and like personality and stuff in those text messages, but you don't get to experience them because it's annoying and then you just end up closing it out. So all that lore and all the like personality building just goes to waste because it's just executed so terribly.
Okay, real quick, Rubee, I know you play Nikke just like I do. Do you
Yeah.
read through all the character messages you get?
No, I actually did not click any of them unless it was for the main story quest, because I have a bad habit. It's kind of like Star Rail, you know, you just kind of ignore all the messages unless you have to open them.
Okay,
I
'cause
read all the
Wait,
text
why?
messages in Star Rail.
Wait,
Oh,
why?
man.
I feel like there might be something important in there, maybe, and I don't want to miss
can't
it.
read,
It's
so I
it's
don't
like
know how you
character
guys do it.
development. You know, you're building a bond with the characters, but then to me, it's like I only played it. I only checked it if it was main story. So like Adler messaged us, for like main story stuff. I'll come.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did touch on boss fights briefly. I guess, what were everyone's thoughts on them? I think they, the presentation for the boss fights were great. I think the boss fights themselves, you know, they were very feature rich. Mechanically, they were very fun and engaging, but as I noted, I think everyone here has mirrored this. The bloat, the HP inflation was abhorrently bad. And because like the first boss you get in that you get into a fight with took me like 5-6 minutes. The tutorial boss that taught you all the mechanics of the game took like 5-6 whole minutes to clear, and then every boss seemed to take over 5 whole minutes. And that to me, like, you know, after the first minute, you're like, okay, so he's just cycling through the same abilities again 8 more times, right? It was the same jumps, the same swings, the same crash down, the same dodges you had to do and everything. Like, I think having the time, maybe reducing it by more than half, would make them more engaging or more enjoyable overall, because they, you know, they have a lot to them, but they shouldn't take you, you know, the fight shouldn't last longer than the story leading up to the fight. But I mean, maybe that's just me.
Yes. Oh my
I agree with a
God.
lot of you saying. I'm gonna keep my camera off. I don't know why it keeps turning off. I don't want to distract everyone.
I was watching you fight that boss battle
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's been fine for his
Yeah,
like,
like
this whole podcast.
my camera is the current boss battle. I actually, there was one boss I really enjoyed, because it's a domain boss that's the same one that I had to climb up the building for like 4 minutes, where if you run into it summons chains, and if you run into the chains, it like takes away a party member for like a minute or two. And I really enjoyed it. It was still a HP sponge, but it was one of those things where it was a mechanic that is just completely universal. It's not tied to an element, it's not tied to a weapon type. Like, I really love when there's just interesting and challenging mechanics like that. So that one I thought was awesome. But then I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I played, bugs aside, like, I fought the narwhal boss fight, and that was the one that, again, I kind of was like, you know what, I'm logging off today, because I feel like there's unique aspects to that boss fight. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever played like Resident Evil 4, where like you're like fighting, like you fight a shark and the shark is like rushing at you. And so I was like, oh, this is so sick. I was getting really hyped, and the transition into the boss fight was cool. But then like you have a damage window of like maybe 30 seconds, and then it just flies around for, I think I timed it at like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do anything here. Like I physically, like, I have one parry window and then that's it, and I was very disappointed with that.
Yeah, we all saw your
So-
tweet.
Listen, man, that was a built up of like 8 hours of just like buggy, like, just, I was surprised I got invited because of that tweet. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah,
That's why I invited you, man.
No, but like, I'm trying to be like, obviously, like, no like frustration like aside, I think they have the potential to make really cool boss fights. But then I look at another one where I didn't personally fight it, but they have like kind of like a Cryo Regismine type boss, and it's almost like a 1-to-1, and I'm just like, this just feels very, it's, again, it does nothing, it's kind of uninspired, and it's just there. And I know they can make good bosses because I've literally fought one of them or 2 of them, like, you know. So I think it's a lot of untapped potential, and to me, that's like the whole theme of Neverness to Everness. It's like, yo, great stuff. But my God, like we need to really iron out the kinks and kind of bring some stuff
let's
there.
dial it in, please.
Yeah, like let's lock it in, as they say, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, because there was the dog one. That one was pretty good, I think. Except for whenever you're on like the platform and you're both like going and he's like shooting stuff at you and you have to dodge.
Yeah, that was cool.
There was one point where it just did not animate what he was throwing at me. And all of a sudden I was just taking damage and I'm like, am I supposed to dodge? He's not throwing anything at me. Is he like supposed to be throwing something at me? Because I'm taking damage. And then I started dodging. I have no idea what I'm dodging because I can't see anything. But then it was like doing the perfect evade or whatever when you like go invisible. And I'm like, okay, so there's something coming at me. I just can't see it. I'm sure that's just bug stuff. But I do think the dog one was good. But there was another one, the last boss fight I did, and it was like with the spotlights, and I was so confused on when to attack the boss, because it was like if you're in the light, you can move. But if you're in the shadows, you can't move, or you're really, really slow. But the boss would move around so quickly, and then by the time you got to your spotlight, she like already went back to the stage, and your window to hit her is gone.
Yeah,
and
you kind of have to wait. That, and then also like if you miss the parry, she goes right back onto the stage, and so I was like, okay, you have to wait quite a little bit.
Yes, or if you like intro skill and she's not like close to your spotlight, it will like teleport you to her. And then you're like, I can't move. I'm not in the spotlight. I can't move. It was really frustrating.
It is funny because in beta. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I think in beta when there's bugs, I do find it a little bit charming because it's like hilarious, you know, some moments that happen, but obviously it should not happen when the game releases. I think I agree with what everyone says. I think my favorite boss might be the crime boss though. Like the moment you hit 3 stars, it's level 99, and then you have to spend time fighting it.
You get transported there, and he just messes you up.
It's like level 99 is like, oh my god, I'm only level 10, and I'm right here right now. I think some of the mechanics are like more the same. The dodge parry stuff. A dodge is just easier to do because the parry timing, the window is a little bit inconsistent. Could just be ping issue, honestly. But yeah, it's only the last boss where it kept moving back and forth, and you just kind of had to wait it out by just standing around. So like you're not really doing anything, you're just standing there.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the boss fights are you just like standing around waiting. Like, you gonna come back over here, or I can't come over there. So
it's. I agree. I mean, I don't want to keep yapping, but that's like my biggest pet peeve of just any gacha game. It's like a lot of these bosses are run away, come back, fight for 3 seconds, or you need X, Y, or Z to fight this boss accordingly or efficiently. I really think that they are able to make something unique with their reaction systems and just with the overall combat, as we've seen with some of their other stuff. So I really hope that they don't go down the route of just, you know, kind of boring mechanics, or again, a boss is gonna fly for 10 minutes, because I'm just like, you know, it wasn't capturing me, other than that one, or like 1 or 2 bosses, you know?
I do wonder, because the HP was just a lot, that when you're in combat for more than like 5 minutes, it just feels boring after that. Because I do think they're pretty solid for sure. But like the length of the battle just, it feels different in other games, but for some reason in NTE specifically, maybe it's just because the character combos are a little bit like slower. But yeah, it just maybe because the battle feels longer, that's why it feels boring. That's how I feel though.
Yeah, because typically in story missions, right, the battles tend to go pretty quickly. The bosses aren't really that mechanically challenging or that difficult, but you typically tend to be presented with the opportunity to engage the bosses you've already fought, like at a, you know, more difficult level. So, you know, when you fight it into story, you're typically kind of just going through it for the narrative journey. You know, oh, that looks really cool. Oh, that was really epic, but there's no threat. There's no real challenge until you tackle it at a higher difficulty. Whereas in NTE, while it's not inherently difficult, you know, with it taking 5-10 minutes, like you run into the issue where you've just gone to a point where you've seen everything 5-10 times and you're just bored just clicking through your buttons waiting for it to end. So yeah, no, I completely agree. Queenie, what do you think though?
I agree that the bosses have way too much health. You would think if they had that much health, they'd have like 3 different phases with different mechanics, stuff that you have to do to defeat them. But it was very much the same thing over and over again. I very much liked the dog fight. But once you knew the first 3 things it did, that was the entire fight. And yeah, that was quite boring and definitely gave me fatigue when it came to playing on a controller. It's just like I'm button mashing now.
I also play with a controller, so I felt the same.
Yeah, it just wasn't as fun as it could be. So yeah.
What'd you think about the bosses?
So in regards to the bosses, I am a little bit of a picky person here too, because I did ultimate rating in Final Fantasy 14, I did mythic rating in WoW, I did mythic dungeons. Like, I love fights. I'm an MMOer. So coming into gacha games and seeing these fights, I felt like the bosses had a long, arduous build-up for almost every single one. Like, you had to go through the flipping floors and the doors and the portals to get to one of the bosses. The final boss, the spotlight boss, you had to go through the waterworks for that thing. And it is a long, arduous process to get to these bosses. So therefore, these bosses should be a treat after getting through this. In theory, they start off kind of like a treat. I'll even touch on the spotlight boss first. Like, the beginning of her fight is actually quite interesting. You have all these red lasers going everywhere. You're dodging. You're like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, even fighting the dog, daffodil, dandelion, whatever, when he morphed into the big kitsune, was so cool. It was very good. But at the end of the day, I'll talk about Ethin's experience here with the boss with the chains. That was actually really sad to do, because standing there with the chains, how you were talking about how that's such an interesting mechanic. You want to know what I did during that mechanic? I stood in place. And then the circle would spawn underneath me and I would slowly walk out of the circle. And then that's all I would do during that mechanic.
Damn.
I bet you were running around. No, I just stood there because I was like, you know what? I bet this is really dumb. And
I was like,
lasers for the spotlight were too, because I was like, oh shit, we gotta have to dodge these, and then it was like, oh, no. Okay, one step over. Okay, one step over.
Yes. You just have to think of like, what can I do to make this, harder for myself, and do that, and then it'll look really cool. But if you just look at the mechanics, like step away and be like, truly, I need to look at this as like a WoW raider. I need to look at this as a raider. What do I need to do to avoid this? And it's stand in place and take a step or two. And that is it. So I feel like these boss fights need to work at being more of a treat for how much effort you have to take to get to these boss fights. But I think at face value, these are very interesting bosses, very interesting fights that could potentially be there. But then you lose me, like at the spotlight when you dance away, and then I just get to stand there in a spotlight and watch you, F with me.
yeah, twirl around on the stage for 5 minutes and while I wait for you to come back.
Yes. So if they could work on that, like I really feel like they're on the cusp of making it good. It definitely could be.
All right, let's move into the driving aspect and the cars, which I know, Oofie, you said you had a lot to say about. Let me start by saying I think the implementation of driving vehicles in a gacha game is awesome, because for the longest time, one of the most requested features in Genshin were like mounts, which have been in MMOs for decades. But so having the ability to actually have like a vehicular mount is awesome. Your little scooter thing was so fucking annoying. The controls for that little thing were like, you hit your A key and you're like into the wall right
I
next
hate
to
it
you.
so much.
That was
It's
rough.
easier on the controller, I promise. Same with the car.
Yeah, it's way easier with the controller.
Yeah,
My
yeah, that's
controller
what people were
died,
telling me.
and I had to use the scooter to get somewhere because the town is just full of sidewalks and no roads, so the only thing I could use was the stupid scooter, and my controller died, and I was just trying to get to this one last thing, and I had to use my keyboard, and I was like, I'm just gonna run. I can't do this.
Yeah, that's the same experience other content creators had that used the mouse and keyboard. Like I asked so many people, and they're like, "Yeah, dude." At one point, like I hooked up like a controller just for the car, and then when I'd go to drive, I'd pick up my controller and then put it back down and play with the mouse and keyboard, because the control for the car and the scooter and everything, like they were terrible on mouse and keyboard, but actually decent on, you know, with a controller. But I think it is you know, great to actually have that kind of system implemented in a game. I also like the fact that they're gonna have like cooperative races, which is, I think, gonna be really cool. And then I'll touch on the GTA system after we move on from this topic. But Oofie, what do you think about the car system?
I have a lot to say. So, yeah, the controller is a lot better. I also play controller with Zenless and Wuthering Waves, so I just figured NTE is also, I'm going to use controller. Plus, there's driving, so that's always easier on controller anyways. But the cars, I love the cars. The car models are great. I still think we need more JDM models, but that's just a personal preference. I liked how the different like engines, like you have like four bangers, are not going to be as fast as like the the V6s or like the V8s, like the big supercars, or the legally distinct GTR is really, really fast. But it's like a 6 or V8. I don't even know. I don't know about GTRs. But compared to the first cars that you get, which are little like 4-banger Toyotas, and you're like, I can only go 120. I thought this was supposed to be like a racing game, but they really pay attention to detail with that. I do think they need to add more modification customizations. The modifications are very vague, and you also like, you don't like, they don't do much. Like the modifications, I went and got like the most expensive modifications for like each of the cars, and I feel like it didn't change the cars that much. So I don't know if they're gonna, like, if there's more the more you level up or something, but yeah, the modifications definitely need more to it. The races were really good. I feel like some of them were maybe a little too easy. It just kind of depends. But besides that part, the actual driving mechanics were good, minus the roads. The roads is what I had the most problem with, and the NPC cars, and like how some of the side roads, or like the exits off the highway and stuff, were too narrow to like get around the NPC cars. And it's like, if you barely touch anything, you're like at a full stop. And the indestructibles or whatever, like the lights and the bushes and fences and stuff, are very inconsistent. Like I feel like it was like you would hit a fence and it would like fly away and it didn't really affect you much, and then you'd hit another fence and it would just like stop you like a wall, and you're just like, okay, I don't know what I can hit, what I can't hit, like what I could go through or not.
That was present in Tower Fantasy too. The collision with objects like that. Sometimes there'd be flat ground like this, and then you'd be driving like this for 30 seconds, and then there's a slight elevation, and you go,
and it's abrupt
like,
stop.
Yeah, there's no passing it. You have to dismount, you know, do a you know, 1/8 of an inch jump up, and then remount, and then start all over again. So yeah.
Yeah, and the main city that like you start at is all sidewalks. And I didn't even know that you could summon your scooter there. But I was like, every time I went to summon my car, it was like, you have to be on a road to summon this. And I'm like sitting there looking at a road, and I'm like, is this not a road? This looks like a road to me. This is car lane, like it is enough room for a car to be here. Why can't I summon my car here? I was getting very frustrated with that. So I hate that I'd have to like run and like sprint and climb to go find the nearest road to summon my car.
That's okay. At some points,
Like I couldn't figure out how to, because I had more cars than could fit in the wheel, and I was like, how do I switch them out? I could not figure out how to like replace the cars in my wheel either. But that was it.
at one point, I was just out in the middle of the road and I summoned, and this actually happened more than once. I'd summon my car, and then like you just look around and there's nothing anywhere, and then you run like 50 feet, and then on the like
6 of your cars.
Oh my, wait, no, that never happened to me. I'm just saying it was on the bridge above me.
Oh, that happened.
I was like, oh, that's where the car went. Like,
Oh my god, I was trying to take pictures of my 8.6 and like some of the other cars I had. So I would summon the car and I would move it into position and get it all parked and pretty. And then I would summon my next car and I'm like, okay, well, I don't see it. Where is it? So I do it again and I'm like, okay, I don't see it. Where is it? And then I
it was
do
janky.
it. Yeah, like more times, and then I'd walk down the road because there's like traffic, I guess, so it couldn't get to me. And then I see like 4 of my cars just duplicated, and I couldn't get into any of them. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't know what to do here.
I do think when you summon the cars, the icon could be like a different color because it's white and it blends in. So you have to like look around to see where your car is pulling up.
Yeah.
what did you think? Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say, other than the moped, because I honestly hated that. I don't know if I'm in the minority, because I saw a lot of people overall, like online, saying they hated the driving. I thought it was smooth.
I thought it was
Yeah,
great.
the
As a
actual
keyboard.
driving was good. It was
Yeah,
just
like I.
stupid roads that I hated.
Yeah, no, I thought it was it literally, other than the moped, because that again, I was like, oh my god, like we gotta get rid of.
Yeah,
this.
I didn't play the moped much, so I
Oh,
don't.
the moped's fun. Wait,
Yeah.
did everyone here play on controller or a keyboard and mouse for the driving?
No, keyboard and mouse. I can't.
Okay.
I can't do controllers.
Controller.
Yeah, same. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm
can't
a
do it.
keyboard and mouse. Since I'm not a controller person, I thought the keyboard and mouse driving wasn't too bad actually.
Mhm.
There was some times where it was like scuffed, but I thought it was like great content for stream. Like it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun driving.
Yeah, the
and
cars are not bad with the keyboard and mouse. They're
yeah.
pretty
Oh
standard.
no, the moped wasn't bad either. I thought it was fun.
I hated
Yeah,
the
the moped
moped.
took me a bit to get used to.
Everything else, like I feel like if the driving, maybe there's a little bit of a hot take. I feel like if it's too smooth, it's not
Mhm.
fun. But I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's just me. Like GTA,
No,
like
I
I loved
agree.
it because it's just jank, right? Like you
Yeah.
play GTA and you're like, oh my god, like this is the worst thing ever. But it makes it fun. And then when you do racing, it's like it'll be fun. It's like, oh my god, like we both suck, but the driving could be a little jank. But overall, I didn't think it was too bad. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I liked how the like different cars like had like the more like the drift cars drifted a lot better than like the GTR or like the Ferrari looking one. Like I like the small intricate differences and details and like the different types of cars too. I thought it was phenomenal, and the
As
actual
like
driving mechanics.
as like a non-car person, they all kind of just felt the same to me with like special effects for each one. So yeah, it's like whichever one looked flashiest for sure. I do love that you can switch POVs during the drive. So like when
Mhm.
you're in first person and you reverse, it literally switches your POV to reverse.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the music as well. You can just switch soundtracks. I thought that
Yeah.
was neat.
I always turn it off. That's because I always turn the music off in Need for Speed too. I don't know why. I need
Oh,
focus.
Focus. I actually want to ask if anyone did the multiplayer racing here.
I was
Uh,
too scared.
Mrs. Stix and I did some of the multiplayer stuff. We tried, but it felt really limited, so we didn't really do much. We did not get around to the multiplayer races though.
Oh, okay. I did the multiplayer races, but I felt like it was like host advantage. If you were hosting, you would win automatically because I raced with my viewers a few times, and they had like a cap of like 90 kilometers per hour or like 95, and they couldn't go beyond it, whereas I could. And then when they would, and then when they hosted, they could break past 100, whereas I would be stuck and I would fluctuate. So part of me, I didn't know whether it was like card difference or like map difference or like host advantage difference in terms of pings. So I wanted to actually ask about that if anyone else went through it with the multiplayer.
That's
Yeah, that's not
fascinating.
crazy because like even like the like cheap cars go over that, like they go like at least 120.
Yeah, it was like when I was hosting, my viewers would just be stuck at 95 because like I would give them a head start and then literally I'd be like catching up to them every second. And then so then when they hosted, I would have a head start and then they would catch up to me every second. So to me, I was like, oh, maybe it's like a host advantage, but I didn't know enough people doing the races to like know whether or not that's like a hosting or just like a car thing. So yeah, that was one thing I wanted to ask for sure.
Yeah, it should definitely be like Need for Speed, where like if you are doing like a multiplayer race, whoever is because like in Need for Speed, like if I have a high level and like I can buy like the really high cars, like I'm gonna get really hard races. But like my friend who just started, they can also join my race, but they're gonna lose because it's gonna be my level versus like if I join their world, it's gonna be really easy. So I feel like that's how it should be rather than like making it, I don't know, specific towards like whoever, depending on who's hosting.
I think they could probably do both, right? They could probably have like I didn't do it, so I'm not too sure, but like maybe correct me if I'm wrong, like you could probably have one where it's like generalized cars for everyone that everyone has the same, and then have another one where it's like custom cars versus each other. I can't see that being a negative adding both, because then you could have the sweats and then you could have the people who are just casually like, oh, let's race,
Yeah, you definitely need race balance.
What did you get for racing? Anything? Or was it just like a haha, I won?
Yeah, it's just like haha, fun.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't really pay attention to the rewards because I just wanted to go fast.
Oh, the only one was when you're racing the one mob, the Inferno Rider one. That one you get like an achievement, but in multiplayer it's just like for fun. Because you can also explore with your friends while like in a car or moped as well. But yeah, the racing
and you can hit them.
Yeah. It's just like
thanks for that.
I watched that.
Y'all were witnesses to my own husband hitting me.
Count 4K.
Great heavens.
But yeah, the keyboard and mouse controller, I thought it was fun. I didn't think too much of it. I definitely enjoyed driving though, for sure. Like that was probably my favorite. And with the scuffness that came along. But yeah, only the multiplayer race was where I was confused. And then of course the online racing, they didn't have that function during the beta, so we'll find out when it releases.
Queenie, what'd you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot, especially since I play on controller. I had so much fun. I think we're gonna get into the GTA aspect later, so I'll just say, when I went into the car shop, I wish they would have had more modifications. Like Oofie said, I put everything on it, the most expensive things, and when I took the car out of the garage, it was like I didn't do anything to it. I was trying to figure out what changed. I want a visual change, You put that much money into it.
Yeah, because I was like watching, because like it's got like the little map of like what, like torque or speed or brake or handling and stuff like that. And it like shows like what it is before modifications and then what it is after. And I'm like, okay, this is like no difference at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, babe.
Well, I guess the one thing I'll talk about that's a little bit different than everyone else's driving experience, because I think we can all agree that the driving experience was janky, but still enjoyable. It actually made me motion sick, so I could not participate in any of the races without feeling absolutely terrible. I tried first-person view. I tried the third-person view, and it didn't matter. I still got motion sick, so I mean, I was sad. But the only good thing about that is that I had to walk everywhere on the map, and that allowed me to explore a lot more things. So if you are driving in the game, I feel like you're gonna miss a lot of little small things. So I appreciated it. I found a lot of NPCs that were talking to trash cans. There were no other people there, but they were talking. So I have a lot of footage of NPCs talking to nobody. So I feel like they're slowly going crazy in this city somehow. But yeah, I mean, the driving was okay. I don't foresee it being good for people that have motion sickness, I suppose. That's my warning.
Yeah,
first person, for sure.
Neither was Nanali's little wall running thing where the perception changes when you.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "No, Stix, change off her. Don't use her, please, God." So yeah. Okay. Ethin, you want to get us started with the GTA system, the wanted system? What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was really fun. I personally didn't get to go to the 3 stars, but I saw people fighting it, and I thought it was very interesting. And I don't know, I escaped it, but it took a little bit, and I enjoyed that. Like, I had to, I don't know, maybe everyone else had a different experience, but I had to put in a little effort to bring my stars down. I think the max I only got up was to 2. But I think overall it's really good from what I've seen. You know, I really actually don't have anything negative to say about it. And again, when you get teleported to, I like the fact that you get teleported, you fight the homie, and then they, you know, put you on like a bail and you have to give them money. It's very unique, and I don't know if there's much they could really improve, because it just seems really cool. I know they're super aggressive as well. Like, you know, the bots follow you around, they blow up your car and stuff. But I'm a good citizen. I didn't really run anyone over or steal their cars. I delivered bread and bought my own. So, you know.
You did mention though that you had to put in some effort to get your wanted levels down. Mrs. Stix actually has a story about how she got hers down with very minimal effort.
Yeah.
So,
Damn, maybe I just suck.
That's a recurring theme that we've noticed, but
Yeah.
being on foot and not driving, I discovered that I could punch my way through NPCs and just raise my wanted level really fast. And I was seeing everyone on stream have the cops kind of spawn on top of them when they were driving. So I was like, well, let's find out what happens when we're on foot. So they're basically like having fat cops chase you. They'll never catch you on foot. And then if you go into a barred off area, they can't climb. So they'll just stare at you through the fence. And I just stared back at them, and we stared at each other until my stars dropped.
The drones follow you?
That's crazy.
Yep, they are there too. They were just, but they couldn't get into the fencing, so we just stared at each other. But you can also go back to your apartment if you have the owl statue. I forget what it was, and it will instantly remove your wanted status. So there was that, but you can walk there only. You can't drive there, teleport. Well, you can drive there, but you're gonna get caught by the cops. So you'll have to walk in because the cops can't catch you because they slow.
I think when I started story, it got rid of my wanted as well.
Oh, nice.
I was at 3 stars or like pro. Oh no, it was pro. Like after with the 10-minute cooldown, I started story and then it got. Yeah.
yeah, I can't imagine that being. I can only imagine, right, being with your group and then going out into the streets and them just staring at you, getting arrested. Like, yeah, we don't know them. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whenever I got heat and I was driving and then I was trying to like escape in my car, it felt like no matter how fast I went, they were on my ass. Like, even whenever I would like turn around and look and they were not behind me and I still had the heat, and then I would like keep driving and then all of a sudden they're like bumping me on the back and I'm like, where did they even freaking come from? And then I try to get out, climb on the buildings, and like glide like miles. Like, I went miles away and like climbed on like whatever tallest building I could find. And then I kept hearing the drones throwing stuff at me, and I'm like, where is this even coming from? I can't even see them. And then I look up and it's above me in the sky, and I'm like, where did this even come from? It was not here 2 seconds ago. It literally spawned just on top of me when I'm 50 million miles away on top of a building. I could not escape. And then they finally did catch me and I had to pay the money. Or I didn't pay the money.
Yeah, neither did I.
And then I got restricted. So I was like, well, that's stupid. Why are you going to give me an option to not pay and then punish me for it?
Yeah, you also couldn't go into stores and steal anymore when you had that status. Because that was the first thing I
never
did.
tried to
You
steal.
can't buy anything either.
Yeah,
when
so-
you're-
So like my first reaction was, oh, okay. So like I walked out menacingly and walked into a store and I was like, well, fuck you guys. I'm gonna steal some more shit. So I went over and there was no indicator that you could interact with anything. I was just like, well, I guess that ends, you know, my that little rebellious.
streak.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cooked.
Mhm.
Dang.
What'd you think, Rubee?
Oh, I absolutely love the chaoticness that came with it for sure. How like the police will literally like run you over or like run into you when you're on scooter or the car. I thought that was hilarious. The only thing that I struggled with was trying to trigger the stars at first, because literally the moment we had open world exploration, the first thing I did was get into a car and try to trigger the stars. But I don't know if it's just because I was unaware at the time. But I felt like because I was in the middle of story, it was hard to trigger the stars, and so it wasn't until after I finished then I could trigger it. But I don't know if it was just like at the moment I didn't understand how the game worked. But yeah, I had a tough time triggering any stars in the beginning of the story, and it wasn't until after like the dandelion story quest that I was able to trigger something. Yeah, no, I loved hijacking the cars. I thought it was hilarious. The
Real
way
quick.
the cops chase after you. Huh?
Real quick, with regards to the hijacking of the cars, did any of you ever encounter an instance where, because I did on stream, I walked up to a car and I flashed them like, hey, get out the car, we need it. And the dude driving was just, he looked at me and he goes, no, I'm busy right now. And then he just sat in there. You know, there was nothing
Yes,
else.
It's hilarious, yeah.
Bro,
and
he
then,
was not scared. He's like,
and then you
nope.
slash them. You slash them to get them out of the car, you know. It's
He wouldn't
hilarious.
come out. He just looked at me
Yeah.
and just looked back at his wheel like, nah.
I got
hated that.
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try, buddy.
I do like that because then it's just like a funny NPC interaction, you know, because then maybe you can like chase them down after. Yeah, no, they did a great job with the whole crime system thing. It was just funny that the level 3 one, you get sent to a level 99 boss, which is like a super hard fight, unless you have the characters built for it. Let's see. The stealing thing, I feel like I wish we could steal more stuff. There's in every store, there's only one item you could steal, and then it brings it up to barely 1 star. Like it's not enough for the star, but it's just a little bit, and then it takes forever to get down. That's it. But I had a lot of fun.
I could not figure out how to get my heat down at all. I'm like, I'm walking around, I'm so far away, they just keep chasing me. I'm being good now. I haven't run anybody over in forever. Why are they still after me?
Well, hey, at least
Yeah.
you know in CBT3, just go behind a fence.
Yeah,
no,
I feel like I
Go
did.
corner.
I feel like
Wait.
I did though, and
I
like
think you
they just
can-
blow over top, fly over top.
I think you can log in and log out of the game. You gotta close
You know
the
what?
game.
I
and
should
it's
have
like-
tried to get into a train or something.
Oh, that would be interesting. Have the cops chase the train?
Yeah, like
Wait.
how are they gonna, they're just gonna be at the next stop.
Did anyone ever try jumping in the water?
Yes, I did.
What happened?
Okay, actually, so there's 2 things. When you're driving and you drive into the water, you will literally glitch under the water. So like the car will be gone instead of you're walking, and you can't swim. So you're at the very bottom of the map in the water. And then once you like jump up on the rocks, get out, then you're swimming again. So that was like the only thing that I noticed that was just buggy. Is like when you're in a car, you just end up clipping through the water at the bottom, which is hilarious. And then if you're not in a car, you're swimming, but your stamina is really low. So then like you can't really swim too far, or then you die.
Ethan, did you want to elaborate on that, or?
No, I didn't do that. Are you able to swim? Well, I mean, now we have the answer, right? But I was
Yeah,
gonna ask,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
You're able
I
to
didn't
swim,
even
but
think of that.
I
You
didn't
have
even take
to-
a try.
you have to swim,
What?
but without being in the car. Because literally, when I was running away from the cop, I was like, I have no other choice. I ran into the car and then I clipped through it. The car is gone. I'm at the bottom, and you can literally just walk around. But that is like a bug because at this
Yeah.
point, I can't swim up. I'm like literally walking on the ground, so I have to walk up the rock and then jump up, and then I'm swimming again.
Queenie,
I wonder if there's gonna be like a purpose for it because I didn't even think about that. Like the whole in both the betas, I don't think I ever touched the water once. Honestly,
I actually wanted to try to hijack a boat, but you cannot hijack a boat. And I wish we could.
That'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
An
Literally
idea,
like swim.
idea for CBT3. There you go.
Yes.
New feature:
Yeah.
hijacking boats and
Skis.
cars.
Yeah, like
Yo.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Queenie, what did you think about the wanted system?
Okay, well, first of all, I tried to hijack a bus and it wouldn't let me. And I thought that sucked. I really wanted to do that. I came across a lot of NPCs that were like, nope, not letting you steal my car. And I was like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. And then the weirdest thing for me was when I first started the game, there was a quest that led you to an NPC called the Butcher. And I went over to the Butcher and I was like, I'm gonna show this guy my skirt, because I would just like try to be funny on stream, you know? So I went over to the Butcher, jumped on his hot dog stand or whatever it was. And I
Girl,
got
that
stuck.
sounded sus.
Yeah, it did. I got
I'm
stuck.
done his what?
His hot dog stand. I got stuck. I could not get out for the life of me. So I thought exiting the game and coming back would fix it. It did not. So I decided to try and kill the Butcher. That got me up to
What the
3
fuck?
stars really, really fast. And then they threw me in with a level 99 boss at level 1. He stomped me. He stomped me into oblivion. And then I was put in jail where I had to pay a 5,000 in-game currency. And I was like, are you kidding me? Can you just not have an unstuck button, please? Please add that.
Oh, I have a quick question. Did anyone beat the police boss or no? Like, is there any footage of someone doing it or?
I tried.
Yeah, how'd that go?
I lasted about 30 seconds.
Damn.
That was about my personal
That's
best.
pretty average for you.
I
though.
got down to a third of
Recovered.
it, but then like the 2/3, it just gets kind of harder. Like it becomes a little bit unpredictable. I think at one point they start swiping, and then like your characters are gone.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was like, it was tough, for sure.
Wouldn't last
Yeah.
30 seconds playing this game.
Yeah, well, they don't call me Quicks for nothing.
yeah. Wix is
I-
crazy.
I did make it to about halfway on the boss, and then I think I just got so tired of hitting into this giant HP that I just gave up. Could I have potentially done it if I had kept dodging? Maybe,
Maybe,
but it would have
yeah.
taken a decade.
I do think when you break the boss, the downtime for it is very short. It's like 5 seconds, and then it gets back up again.
Actually, quick question on that. Is there any real significance in breaking the boss other than just being down for a moment? Because again, I never really noticed a significant amount of HP being taken off. Like it kind of just felt like I was chipping away every boss every single time. So does anyone notice that, or I just thought about that because you brought it up.
It's just probably like a little bit more damage, and then obviously it's not moving, so you can get in more hits and do like your combos. But that's how I felt.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
pretty much the same experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the break does need to be longer, especially when you're using people like freaking Fadia, who is so slow at every single one of her hits. And I'm like, okay, I got one
Yeah.
hit. And then
Yeah.
he got his shield back.
Mhm,
Like, what
yeah,
the
I could
heck?
barely like do a combo and then suddenly it's standing back up. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it needs to be longer.
All right. Honestly, I feel like we've covered a lot of topics so far, and we've been at this for over 2 hours. So let's just let's give our what we think are pros and cons, what we liked and disliked real quickly, what we enjoyed and what we didn't. Since Oofie is now over on the far left of the first one.
I'm number one.
Yes.
One.
What
I
did,
would
what did
say pros would be the driving and the world. I like how there's racing and there's a lot of attention to detail with the cars, especially putting in the 1-for-1 86 from initial D, which was so sick, even
Mhm.
though it's a slow car, but that's the point. Anyways, that was the pros. The cons are the HP inflation bosses, the roads kind of suck, and the parry and dodge, I want to say. That's pretty much it.
Did you have fun though? Did you enjoy your experience overall?
I did. The later half more than the first half, because I feel like the first couple times I played the beta, I crashed out and alt F4'd quite often, but then pretty much after that, I think they fixed a lot of the bugs that I had problems with. So after that, I did a lot of exploring and things like that, and I had a lot better time.
Rubee, what do you think?
The pros that I think the animations, the expressions, the characters, when they're animated, have a lot of personality. I love the open world. The design is really beautiful, and because of that, I do think it does lack in some other places, such as like climbing, traveling and stuff. There's actually 3 things I hope that they'll add, or I want to see, that I would like to see, is if people don't want to like hijack cars and drive, I hope that there's like an Uber or taxi equivalent where they can literally travel instead of having to find the telephones, or, you know, teleport to like that one big area that they know and then travel by feet. I want them to have like a map key, so if you need help finding the repair shop, you'll know where it is, or like where you, if there's other shops, you know, the modification stuff, you can find it. I do think one con is that there are a lot of new elements in the game. There's like 8 elements. There's a lot of elements. And maybe just because we're all so used to like Hoyo and Kuro games, that when they throw in the new ones, it's hard to understand and remember. I would like a tutorial for the characters and maybe the console system. The console one was, it only took a little bit of time just because of location. Other than that, I think this game is pretty solid. Luckily it is in beta, so there is a lot of room for them to improve on. Other than that, I am looking forward to it. It's a pretty fun game overall. I hope a lot of people give it a chance, regardless of the things we've said.
For real, like, I think the purpose of beta tests is to find out everything wrong with a game rather than to find out the things that are right with a game, so they know what to improve on and fix. Because if you get into a beta test and you're like, okay, everything is great, then it's ready to ship, right? So it's ready to play. But if you get into the game and you find a lot of things wrong, then they have room to improve them before releasing. So I think it's imperative people don't take the experiences that people have in a beta test as a definitive final result of a product. So I think, you know, the people should take these critiques as critiques rather than, you know, like objective opinions. Because as an example, I think the narrative is all over the place, right? But they have a lot of time to fix that. They improved on it from CBT1. I think the combat has been improved since CBT1. The animations were improved from CBT1. So evidently they're listening. There's still some very, you know, like noticeable flaws. In my opinion, the clunkiness of like the scooter controls on mouse and keyboard. I think the HP inflation, the HP was just so overwhelmingly bloated, regardless of how powerful you were. I think the narrative presentation was, you know, stellar, top tier, doesn't need any changes whatsoever. But I think in the cutscenes themselves, what we've seen in games like Wuwa, where they're much more expressive and emotive, and animated in just normal scenes, they weren't in this. They were very much, you know, Hoyo character models where they just kind of stand there and just move their mouths to speak, and that's it. But yeah, like overall, I feel like when I made my tweet and I gave it a 6 out of 10, I was pretty fair, and a lot of those sentiments still hold. I think there's a lot of great potential for the game going into the future. I know they're planning to hold a CBT3. And that there's, you know, it is, as much as people want it to, it's not going to release in 2025. 2026 is much more likely. But giving them like a solid another year to cook, I think we could have something much better than the current state it's in. But Queenie, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think there are a lot of pros. I really love the world. It's so gorgeous. I love the uniqueness of the anomalies and stuff like that, and the concept, like I was saying earlier. I just think it's so beautiful, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. I hope I get into the next beta. For me, the cons, not having an unstuck button, that is very important. Because if there are places that you can get stuck, you don't want to, you know, have to pay to get out of there like I did. I would say the scooter, yeah, I didn't like that at all. I definitely like the car a lot better. I love the characters. I think they're gorgeous. Yeah, the HP for the bosses. it's too much. There's too much health. They take too long to die. But I did very much enjoy the beta, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Awesome, Ethin.
Despite my crash out tweet, I do want the game to do well. And again, I really do believe like they have really great concepts that could be gacha genre defining, constellations, obviously the gacha system itself, even with gameplay like the elemental system and whatnot. So I hope it does well, but I do think that they need to kind of brush up on a lot of these systems, because it feels like they have the right idea for so many things, but they're just kind of so far away from the delivery in my eyes for mainly like the combat. I just don't want it to be another game that you play for like, a couple weeks and then just like, it feels the same, because it does have the uniqueness to it. So if they deliver on it, I think it'll be fine.
Babe, what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts on the game overall is like visually, the game is really pretty. The cutscenes, most of them, unless it was like a boring story part, really pulled me in. I thought the characters had like a lot of facial expression. I thought it was a good draw in, although some of the character appearances, like Hathor, looked like Sid from Ice Age to me, with her eyes out in Timbuktu on either side. But for the most part, like the characters do look really interesting. Hattori, I love her. My goodness, her ability to freeze time is so cool. I love that aspect about her. I love the random fights that you find just by exploring the world, which I would highly recommend doing so by foot, because then you find these random fights like you were talking about, like the world just flips upside down and you're fighting the anomalies. Like, that's so cool. I like the housing aspect, how it has a purpose. The only thing I don't like, I don't know if anybody else dealt with this too, but for running dungeons, again, farming materials, you can go up to your butler and he will run a dungeon for you 3 times for free every week. I would like to see that be daily. And the more houses you get, the more the more butler stuff you unlock for him, the more he'll run for you per week. But I would love to see that increase. But the housing itself was cool, that I can decorate it, different houses. I also like the businesses aspect. We never touched on that this conversation, but it made me feel like I was involved, I guess, in the world a little bit more. It was just a fun little mini thing that I could just go do. So there's a lot of positives here. I really think they are onto something good. I just think they need to clean it up, and they need to lean more into their positives and lean away from those negatives. And then potentially we could have a great gacha game that is unique on their hands. So that's my take.
Those are all really good takes. And with that, I guess we didn't touch on the ownership and business system, but I mean, I guess that'll be...
I totally forgot that it even had that.
Yeah, like not a single one of us actually mentioned anything related to that for the whole 2-hour podcast, which blows my mind.
Yeah, well,
I only played for the cars.
But this was a lot of fun. It was great having everyone here. For everyone watching, especially on the YouTube video when this eventually gets uploaded, make sure you follow Oofie, Rubee, Queenie, and Ethin, and of course Mrs. Stix on all their socials, which will be down in the description and the pinned comment below. If this is received well, then I would love to have everyone here, along with additional people, whenever CBT3 comes, for an additional follow-up podcast. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate you all being here. Hopefully, we all get into the 3rd beta test when it inevitably releases.
Everyone has a good chance, maybe except me, but I think everyone else might have a good shot,
You'll be all right. For having this podcast. Thank you for hosting.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank y'all so much for being here. Hopefully you guys have a good day.
Of course, you guys
See
have
you
a good day.
later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Great podcast. Thank you. Lots of happy people. This went very well, dude. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I was hoping it would. We had, cumulatively almost 300 people throughout that entire thing over YouTube and Twitch, so that was really awesome to see. Had a great turnout for the stream. Very talented content creators present. If y'all haven't followed each of them on, subscribed on YouTube or followed them on Twitter or on Twitch, then I would strongly urge you to go ahead and do so. I feel like we touched on a lot of topics, and what do y'all think? You think I feel like we're very fair, right? Like we weren't overly critical, it wasn't negative, it also wasn't glazy. What I learned is everyone hates driving. Great podcast, got the entire thing. Awesome, thank you. Not so talented since none of them beat the police boss though. I mean,
I tried, but not really. I didn't try, I gave up because I was bored of doing it.
Valid. They didn't play long enough. I mean, no, that's understandable, but at the same time, like, you only play as much of something as you want to. So, podcast was awesome to listen to. Thank you, I appreciate that. You made it very honest and constructive. That was my point. The point of all the podcasts we do are to keep things genuine, to keep things honest, and to keep things productive, and to try to give criticism where criticism is due and praise where praise is due. So that was that's the purpose of our podcast. To not be dramatic, to not be, negative or aggressive. It's nice to have everyone's opinions over the game in CBT. Yeah, because all of us played for different amounts. All of us focused on different things. Like Oofie focused on the cars. Rubee focused more on like open world exploration. Mrs. Stix did all of the story. Ethin got angry at the whale boss. So everyone had a different focus in the game and experienced different things, and that was kind of what I wanted. Because different people, like I didn't experience some things other people did and vice versa, so it was all really good getting to see everyone's individual takes on every matter. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have, and I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.